CFR Network, CFR Sports. Good day, good night, all. Special guest with me, Feminine Energy, the one and only. Please introduce yourself, young lady.
Ah, feminine energy. Talk about that. Here's the queen. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Lisa Coulter here with Global Fight Talk, all the way from Dallas, Texas. As you can't tell by my accent, for those in the UK. Hi to y'all.
Some of that southern hospitality had to
Yeah.
bring you back. Apologies, it's been so long. Schedules have been quite here, there, and everywhere, but we managed to get it done and tied in. So welcome
Yes.
back to the
Thank you.
broadcast. We've
Thank you for
had
having
some.
me again.
You're
It's always
most
a
welcome.
pleasure.
Always, it always is. It always is. And I always enjoy picking your brains because you have a wealth of knowledge in an area which I don't have as much in. So, starting off, we had and you can actually answer this. The first thing I've got for you, the event that took place here in London, the O2 Arena, Clarissa Shields, the GWOT.
Yeah.
Was that not a big enough fight to make abroad, like in MSG or something? Or like, what was the reasoning behind them holding the fight here?
I'm not, you know what? This is what I say because, I got some new glasses. So, my eyes are getting bad as I get older. So I'm going to be taking them off and on. But the reason why I feel like they had it there because, man, women have to go outside the country to receive that type of energy that they got last night.
Mm,
They couldn't sell that out here in the US. They, women's boxing is a lot slower to accept, and it's coming along, but it's coming slow. It's nothing like MMA. But I've always felt that women had to go outside the country because they appreciate women fighters
mhm.
more than they do here in the in the US. So I think them having it there was necessary. It shows that they can sell the arena out, and the appreciation for the women fighters that were on there last night. I was excited to see all those people there and how they were treated. They got the publicity that they needed. I mean, just everything about it was beautiful. From the walkouts, how they all came out. Man, it was amazing. It was on fire, and I was
Yeah.
excited just for that part alone. But I think that's why they had it there. It was because of how um, how you guys, how people from outside the U.S. accepts women fighters.
It's interesting that is. It's an interesting thing because I would imagine that countries or Europe, America, UK, etc., there wouldn't be a division in that respect. I think everybody can respect and appreciate the skill and the dedication, hard work, etc., blood, sweat, tears that it takes to even attempt to get to that high level. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah, but it's been like this forever. You know, we haven't seen women to get this much attention from back in the days, like Layla Ali,
Mhm.
from Christy Martin, um, Lucia Riker, um, Ann Wolf. We
Oh yeah.
haven't seen that type of energy when it came to women's fighting. And there always seems to be just one women's bout. That's it. And man, to have an all-woman card, there were 4 or 5 fighters, four or five bouts of women just on there, and they all brought something
Yeah.
exciting, to the arena. So just that alone, it's like you have to go outside the country to receive that type of acceptance, which is sad. But I hope last night showed the Americans what women can do
Yeah.
if you promote them like they did over there.
100%. 100% agree. It's shocking because, as I say, the level of talent, the amount of belts she's got, becoming undisputed middleweight, like that's big news. That's history. That is, you know.
I mean, okay, first of all, let's talk about not just one, but she is undisputed in two weight classes. Let's talk about that. Clarissa Shields. I love the fact that she came out and it reminded me of the Rocky movie when Creed came out to fight.
Oh, yes,
And she had the American flag shorts
yeah,
on, and
yeah.
how Creed came out dancing. And
Mm,
I was hyped when she came out. And she had some dancers, and she was dancing along. She was having a good time. And a lot of people, they have a lot of negative things to say about Clarissa Shields, her attitude, her confidence. Some people say she's just so disrespectful. She's arrogant. But man, come on. She's a two-time Olympian champion,
yeah.
three-time undisputed world champion. Yes, be humbled, but man,
Oh,
because you don't have that, you want her to not be confident and excited on what she's accomplished in her boxing career. And let's not talk about where she came from, her background.
yeah.
So yeah, she's excited because she had a poor, toxic upbringing. And so for someone that comes from that type of upbringing and what she has accomplished in her life,
Mhm.
yeah, I would speak like that too.
100% agree. And
But
also,
because I don't have those accomplishments, I'm like, nice, good for you.
this is it. You just gotta just like, yeah, tip your hat, do your little
Yeah,
coaching.
I'll be humble. Sit down, be humble. I'll do that. She doesn't need to be humble and sit down somewhere. She's done great for herself. And the fact that she fought Savannah Marshall, who they fought in the amateurs, and the only person to beat her, you know I'm not too sure why they kept bringing up the amateurs. You know
Yeah,
I guess because where she's at, this is a pro career. Amateurs is over and done with. But and plus people grow, and they're different as far as just mindset alone. Um, it's just Clarissa Shields just has a different type of confidence in her, and she is a believer in herself. Like
mm,
she can say, I don't care if y'all believe in me, but I believe in myself. And it was just that confidence in her that won her that fight, and her, tenacity and determination.
yeah.
Um, and plus she's grimy. I mean, she's grimy. So yeah.
She did switch it up a lot because that first round, Savannah came out and was pressuring. She just closed the real estate and was like, nah, nah, nah. I ain't giving you no room to work.
Well, who Savannah kind of reminded me of the way she was fighting,
Fury.
right? She reminded me of Tyson
Yeah,
Fury.
I said exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. The way she was shuffling, the movement and
Shove
stuff.
and move in, and then she would flick her jab,
Yeah.
from the low to top. She would just flick it. I said, that's Tyson Fury right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, she reminded me of her. I didn't think Savannah utilized her reach like she should have. And I think because Clarissa, you could see the difference in their pop in their jab. Like, when Savannah popped her jab, she put her jab out there. She was just out there just to, get her off her, rhythm, and she was just popping it out there. But
Yeah.
when Clarissa popped her jab, she was bam. I mean,
Yeah.
she was coming forward with it, and she was like on a whole different level. Like, I'm trying to hurt you,
Mhm.
because I think also too, Clarissa Shields only has two knockouts versus Savannah.
Yeah.
She has about what, 10 or 12 knockouts, or
12, I think it was. Yeah.
something like that. And I don't know if she was trying to prove a point, because Savannah did talk about the lack of knockouts that Clarissa Shields have, which, to me, I'm just like, okay, let's, but look what she has.
Yeah, yeah,
I take the title versus the knockouts any day. Um, yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's
but
nice to
it
have.
was interesting. It was an interesting fight. They did bring the excitement. People in the arena was standing up, yelling. Of course, you know, the favorite was Savannah. So when she would fight, you know, when she would, you know, tee off on
Yeah,
Clarissa, everybody was yelling. The only thing that I got worried about Clarissa, not that she was getting hurt, but the fact that she was against the ropes a lot.
yes, which is very uncharacteristic of her, I would say, because well, I think that was the game plan. The game plan was just was trying to push her up against the rope, crowd the space, and try and work. Not in allowing Clarissa to get her offense off. And I think it worked to a point, but she was going to the body a little bit. I think she if Savannah had went to the body a little bit more, that could have opened up opportunities.
Yeah, but yeah, I think also with Clarissa, she's trying to do the rope a dope thing like Ali, you know, like, okay, I'm against the ropes, but I'm gonna catch you
Hmm.
when you're trying to throw and I'm gonna find an opening. Um, and I think also that, I mean, I mean, she was catching her too because Clarissa was, you know, using the shoulder roll a lot. You know, she was moving more than she usually does as far as head movement goes. I saw a lot of that usually, you know, but you know, Savannah's a big girl. She's 5'11". So she was probably able to do a lot of head movement because of the size, and it was easier to roll under those punches, slip those punches or whatnot, and come back. But Clarissa did do because she was a taller fighter, because Savannah was a taller fighter. Clarissa was able to go to the body a lot, and there was times that I saw Savannah had to take a deep breath,
Hmm.
and you know it seemed like she was rocked or whatnot. But yeah, I have to give it to Clarissa. No other person has done what she has done, male or female, but
Hmm.
Clarissa.
Yeah,
So she made history last night. So I'm really excited. I was really happy for her as a fighter, as the first female to do it. But just because her background
yeah.
alone,
The story.
always push for the underdog, for someone who comes from that type of background.
Hmm.
I get excited that they, you know, were able to, you know, overcome that and make something out of themselves.
To excel, and to exceed all expectations based upon growing up, in a quote unquote poor neighborhood in Michigan,
Hmm.
right? Of
Yeah.
course, it's wonderful to see. And as I say, I think you can correct me, but it's only towards the latter part, the true information of sorts has come out, her true story has come out. And I think really there should be like, was it ESPN 2020s or whatever? There should be a whole damn thing about that on multiple different platforms. People really going into the story and celebrating, look what you can achieve if you put your mind to it, if you put your heart into it, and you dedicate yourself, you can achieve things.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, one of the things that she made a post, and I want to read right quick. I gotta put my glasses on. Uh, she made a post last night and she said, "My God has never failed me. And this is why I'm a even a bigger fan." She said, "I stand as a survivor of life, poverty, sexual abuse, depression, and today I see why the fight was worth living through. I am so happy. I knew it. I'm the GOAT, and I did it, and I defeated Savannah Marshall tonight in a great match. 10-year rival finally complete. I proved who I am. God is amazing." So just those words alone that she said, what she overcame,
Mhm.
um, you never know what a person goes through, and you never know why someone like herself, that she even said she needed boxing as her outlet because she had so much anger issues that she needed an outlet. And reading what she wrote and what she'd been through, you know, sexual abuse and fighting depression and growing up, poor, she needed this. And look where she stands right now as a three-time undisputed champion. That story can't get that's a Rocky story. That can't get any better than that.
Agreed. Pardon self. I totally agree. Totally agree. Inspiration, I would say, for females, but not just for females, for everybody, for
Yeah.
absolutely everybody. Um,
And I'm an advocate. I'm a domestic violence advocate. I speak about, domestic abuse and sexual abuse. So I understand where the importance of overcoming that.
mhm,
So I get it. But one fight that I do want to talk about, and it was still on that same card,
mhm.
big shout out to Clarissa Shields, was Micaiah Mayer versus Elisa. I said Alicia, I want to make
Yeah,
her Mexican, I guess.
yeah.
That fight, man,
The co-main you're talking about, right?
the co-main event,
Yeah.
yeah, that was, what's her name? Baumgardner, Elisa
Yes.
Baumgardner.
Baumgartner, yeah.
Yes. Um, so one thing I do know about Alicia is that she can box and she's
Mm,
very, very fast. And I didn't think Michaela did understand how quick she was when she got in the ring with her.
no.
And it seemed like it kind of threw her off her game, because she moved a lot. She is a mover, she's quick, and she could box. Because I'm usually, when I see her fight, she's always dominating and pressing the fight and going forward. And this time she just kind of like, the fight wasn't like the back and forth trash talking, let's say.
Yes.
That was not the fight I saw outside the ring. A lot of people expect it to be, I guess, inside pocket, back and forth type of fight, but it never. Neither one of them stayed professional in the ring and with their game plan. Yes, she won a split decision, and that was Michaela's uh, first loss. But it was a very close fight. Very close
Very
fight.
close. Very close. If
Oh,
either
but
one of them had just turned it up a little some, it could have been a totally different outcome.
yeah, no, yeah, it was very close. And again, if it would have gone the other way, I wouldn't have been mad either, because it was that close of a fight. Obviously, it was a split decision, but I think with not Michaela, but Alicia, her punches, she moved a lot. She caught Michaela a lot, and because her defense, it was harder for Michaela to get off like those cleaner shots that I'm used to seeing. And that could have been the reason why she walked away the winner.
Game plan ultimately.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, so yeah, it was a good. I would love for it to see them run it back, because I
Yeah,
think it'd be a different fight. But at least they made it very clear, like she doesn't want to give her a rematch.
which is
She's over the fight.
just based upon what we saw, it was very competitive. As you say, it was razor close. Of course, she wants to move on and do other things, etc. But at some point, the fans, I'm pretty sure, want to see that again. Michaela wants to see that again. That
Oh,
needs to be
she's
run
deaf.
back.
Yeah, she wants her belts back. Of course, she
Mm,
wants to see that fight. I would. Yeah, but she's the
yeah,
champion now. She calls the shots. That's what happens.
totally, totally. Back to the main. What's next for both Savannah and Clarissa? Because I'm hearing all
Well,
this. retirement talk and all kind of craziness. After that fight, why wouldn't the young girl retire?
I'm not too sure. But let me say this. Yeah, she talked about retiring. I don't know. She talked about that was going to be her last fight. But what is next for someone like Savannah or Clarissa when the competition in women's boxing is not nowhere near like the men's boxing? What can he possibly do after that?
Another weight division, maybe?
I mean, if you go higher, I mean, these girls already they're big. I'm not saying they're big, but
Yeah.
like their weight class itself, you know, I don't think in boxing there's a lot of women's weight class bigger than theirs that people are going to see. Other than them, what other weight class higher than them are fighters
Yeah.
that we hear about?
Mm.
No one. There's no other weight class that we hear about,
Hence
and
the
they
very
can't go.
smart.
Huh?
I was gonna say, hence the very smart move a few years back to sign with the PFL.
I mean, Clarissa can go to PFL, but she has a lot to learn. Like if
Oh,
she's gonna go to MMA, she would have to stop boxing. You know, in her fight that she lost, we saw that when it went to the ground, it was pure strength
yeah.
that helped her, not any knowledge of the ground game. It was just strength. But she would have to really stop boxing to really concentrate on the ground game, and that could take years. That's just something learn or get better at overnight or within the year. It just comes, years of it. And anybody who fights Clarissa Shields in MMA, I would take her down.
That should be the first thing on priority for you to try and do is go for a takedown. Leg kicks
Yeah,
as well. Come on,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
she's what, 1-1 now, isn't she? In essence, in
yeah.
PFL.
She won her pro debut and she lost her last fights. But other than that, I think that's what's next for Clarissa is, to continue her MMA career if she wanted to. But as far as like someone like Savannah, getting out the competition, wanting to retire, it's sad, but there's really nothing next when
Mm.
you reach that level, because who really is out there to fight someone like Clarissa or Savannah? Same goes with Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
You'll have more competition because they're a smaller weight class,
Mhm.
and there's so many women in that weight class. But Clarissa's in a higher weight class, and there ain't that many women out there to be fighting like that.
So,
Now, what I would like to see, God, I forgot her name. I'm gonna try to remember. But she is the lady who dropped the only one who dropped Clarissa Shields. Um,
pardon self, I don't know who that is. Sorry.
yeah, and I saw that fight too, and that girl could fight. I would like to see a rematch on that. I think it'll be different. She gave Clarissa, you know, some competition, but I have to remember her name. It'll come. It'll come.
Oh,
It'll
good.
come.
Oh,
But other than
good.
that,
Oh,
yeah, MMA would probably be
yeah.
her next thing.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And she really needs to dedicate some time. Anti-grappling, jiu-jitsu, etc. Um,
Right.
and also leg kicks. The way she was throwing her leg kicks wasn't the best. I'm not a professional fighter, so if I was to throw a couple leg kicks, mine may not look any better, but you know,
Hey, look, look, look. I've seen professional fighters, MMA fighters who throw leg kicks like that, and they've been doing it a lot longer than Clarissa. And sometimes their leg kicks are very questionable. I'm like, you need a quick leg kick, and those are not for you. So yeah,
definitely. Yes.
yeah.
Hey, let's move on to the male element of it. Deontay Wilder and his comeback fight after his two defeats against Fury.
Well, I don't. I mean, that definitely was a comeback fight. I would call it maybe more like a tune-up fight.
You said it, sis.
Yeah, so I would say tune-up. Now, I mean, we only have one round to talk about, right?
I know.
So I understand that Wilder has been trying to work on other things in his training, um, but he still looks the same to me. He has power, and that's probably what, uh, that helps him a lot. When you have that power, when you're getting beat, and you know that you can rely on your that one hitter quitter. But he didn't look any different than any other fight in the past. Um, he moved more. I did see that he moved more, and that was about it. He still has that overhand right, like he's chopping a tree down. He got an axe, and he's coming down with it. But this time, he threw a left hook when he was getting backed up, and it didn't even look like he touched him. Like it seemed like he just grazed him, and it was a short hook.
Mm.
And I was like, and the way that man fell and his eyes rolled back, I'm like, okay, Wilder got some wild, crazy knockout power. That is like, you know what? NyQuil should endorse him
Yes.
because he will put you to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
NyQuil needs to reach out to Deontay and say, we would like to endorse you.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah.
Watching that, I was. You're right. You're totally right. 'Cause I'm thinking with his size and reach, why isn't he utilizing the rudimentary jab, the rangefinder? Why aren't we pumping that out a bit more and doing your
Um, you know, this is what I always say. What you learn from the very beginning is what you're going to go back to no matter what, no matter who teaches you. Deontay, probably that's how he learned, and that's what he was taught. And no matter, and he's been fighting like that for so many years, and it doesn't matter who comes in and tries to work with him with his jab, utilize his, his full extension, straighten out his punches. He's always going to go back to what he knows. And that's everyone. When you get in a dog fight, you're not going to go back to, oh, this is what I just learned. Let me go ahead and use this. No, when you get into a fight, you're going to go back to what you know and what you're used to. And it just seems like this is Deontay. This is what we're always going to see Deontay fight. We're not going to see Deontay throwing straight punches, um, head movement. We're not going to see that. And we're just going to see how this is Deontay and this is how he fights. And we're always going to see that. So I don't think we should expect anything other than that overhand rights, some trash talking, and some knockouts. And that's it.
Yes. Do you see him reclaiming any belts back with his current modes, same mode of fighting?
So who's out there? Is Tyson Fury, he hasn't retired, or
Yeah,
does he want to come back?
he's coming back. He's still marketing stuff, isn't it? Still marketing. Raise the prices up.
Yeah.
Because they're
So
talking
if
about him
Tyson
and
comes, if Tyson comes back, I don't see him reclaiming those titles. Um, I did see him, and um, who else is out there for him to fight? I
Joshua?
would have loved to see, because I saw when Luis Ortiz and him were fighting, Luis was beating him.
Yeah.
He's just a boxer. He's a pure boxer. He's very talented, but he's much older. I don't want to say much older, but he's an older fighter. And I think what got him was, him being tired. Not, being
Yeah.
tired and he got caught. But other than that, I don't know what's next for Deontay. I know he wants to be the champion again, and he possibly could be the champion if Tyson Fury steps aside. He could
Well,
be.
how would you see Wilder and Anthony Joshua? How do you see that? How would you see that fight playing out?
Wilder winning. Um, at first I thought maybe Anthony, um, you know, I thought Joshua, would win just because, you know, he's a boxer. And I always think that a boxer could always outbox a slugger, but not when you have that type of power. Anything can happen when you have that type of power. But I always thought that Wilder would knock out Joshua.
Hmm. Late, mid, early?
It would have to be early because Wilder, he comes on strong in the
Yeah,
beginning. Anthony, I think he would just try to shoot that jab. Like he would just take him to Jab City.
yeah, yeah.
And if Joshua would leave his jab out there a little bit longer, he would have been met with an overhand right.
Overhand. Yes, yes, yes.
So, I mean, that's a toss. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a toss up, but I would see. So if you've never, okay, so if you ever see a boxer and a slugger, right? The boxer would sometimes, if you're not careful, you wind up fighting like the slugger
Yeah.
because now you're in survivor mode. And so you can't, Wilder probably would have brought him into his world, and Joshua would have probably be slugging with Deontay if he wasn't careful. And sometimes when that happens, you wind up looking like, when did you start learning how to box?
Yeah. It
Sometimes
evens
people like that can make you look crazy.
yeah, it evens it all out, man. And it's all about having a strategy and keeping to the strategy. Now, obviously, strategies can change throughout a course of a fight, but
Yeah,
it's not allowing. It's about ultimately it's about dictating where this fight is going to take place. Is it going to be on your terms or is it going to be on my terms?
right, right, right. Yeah. But I don't know what's next with Deontay. Would he be a champion again? Yeah, he could. Like I said, only if Tyson Fury doesn't come back. And I'm just
Only
being
time.
honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Only time will tell.
Mhm.
Mademoiselle, please throw out all of your social medias and I will make sure I put them below in the description.
Yes, yes. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. Everybody's doing the TikTok thing.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
recently joined as well.
Yeah. You won't be seeing me out there doing any dances or anything or anything that's trending. But Global Fight Talk is on there as Global Fight Talk. That's where you can find us. We're constantly we talk about boxing and MMA, so that's our love and passion. So you can always follow us for fight news content.
Exactly. And most definitely suggest you go over there and subscribe and look at the content. It's you guys are doing a very, very good job. It's not like me where I'll probably post once every other day kind of thing, or maybe once a week. You constantly putting out the news. So yeah, I'm very grateful for you being a source of information.
I also have help, so it's just
Of
not
course,
me.
of course.
Yeah, I have, Sav Maddox is out there
Yeah.
constantly putting content out there. I'm blessed to have someone like him who's passionate and, who's young and vibrant and stays up late and watch fights so he can post and I can sleep.
Definitely. And I missed him when he was over here in the UK. I missed him. I didn't even know he was here, man.
Yes. So he was out there for work and he so happened to go when the first time Clarissa and Marshall was supposed to fight.
Mhm.
And he was, he got, you know, credentials to go in there, to cover the fights, and then it got canceled. So, yeah.
All good. All good. Make
Yeah.
sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely share. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I will make sure I will not leave it another year plus before we have another catch up. And
Yeah, no, definitely. I always love talking about, I can talk about fights all day. So,
definitely, I think next time when we got a little bit more time, we'll mix in a little bit of MMA as well. There wasn't really
yeah,
much to talk about, like with the last Apex event, but yeah, we'll chop it up most definitely.
yeah, definitely.